Suppose you are writing a program that requires the user to input a value for a variable or a formula of some kind. Let's consider an example. Suppose you wish to have the user input a value for capital A and then another value for capital B, and you want the program to output the quotient of A and B. We go into Program, select New, and hit Enter. And we'll go ahead and type in a name for our program, and then hit Enter. Now that we've given our program a name, we can ask the user for input. There are two easy ways to do this, and I will demonstrate both ways in this program. Go ahead and hit the Program button, and scroll over to I/O, this is Input Output, and hit Enter. The input command is one way to get input from a user. This command allows you to type in some kind of identification or a description of what the input represents, and you can do this by hitting quotation marks, which is found by alpha and then plus, and then you can type in some text values to call this value whatever you wish to call it. And I'll simply type in the word value, and then a space, and then A, and then a question mark. And then I'll close this. Now, in order for me to store this value, we're going to need to type in a comma, and then the name of where we want this thing stored. And I'm going to store this in letter A. So we hit comma, then we just hit the alpha button and the math button to call up A. And then we hit Enter. So at this point, if you were to run this program, it would say value A onto the screen, you'd type in a number, and it would store that value in the letter A. And so that whenever you call up this letter A, that value would be stored. Another way to have users input values is to use the prompt command. This command does not allow for extra typing for labels, though. To get to it, you can hit Program, highlight I/O, and select the Prompt option. And then you just give it the value that you want the number to be stored in this case, B. So let's see how this looks so far. We're going to actually run this program. So I'm going to go back to the home screen, then I'm going to hit Program, and I'm going to select New, or this program here. Then I'm going to run this program, and here it says value A, so I'll enter in the value 2, and then it says B, 9, and hit Enter. Then it says Done. So notice here that when I did the input command, it actually put to the screen what I had in quotations. When I use the prompt command, it simply just gives the label and then equals question mark, and then you can type in the number there. And this is two ways that you can input values into a program. Now let's go ahead and edit our program so that we can output the quotient of A and B. In order to do that, we're going to hit Program, highlight Edit, and select our program. Then we'll hit alpha and the down arrow. This takes you to the bottom of the screen. And now we want to display the quotient of A and B. And there are many ways to do this as well. You can use the display command or the output command. Each has different uses. And first, we'll show the display command. So I'll say Program, go over to I/O, and then select Display, the third option. And then I'll type in the A value, alpha, then math, and then divided by the B value, alpha, and then apps. Now let's test this. Let's actually see what this does. So we'll go ahead and go back to the home screen, and we'll hit Enter. Now, whenever you want to run the program again, you do not need to recall it if you've already called it up. It's kind of ready to run again already. If you want to not do this, then you can just continue typing as you normally would. But if you go back to the home screen and hit enter, it will assume that you want to rerun the program. So we're going to type in 2 for the value of A, and then we're going to type in the value of 9 for B. Then we hit enter. And here we can see the result of the quotient 2 divided by 9 in decimal format. With the display command, we may also output some text along with this result. So let's go back and edit our program by hitting Program, highlighting Edit, and then selecting our program. Now we'll scroll down to our display command, and then I'll insert some text here to type. You can activate insert by hitting second and delete. And then I'll type in some text here. Alpha plus activates the quotes. This is what will be displayed to the screen in text format. And I'll just type in the word quotient. And then I'll end this with a quote. Now we will see this text, but similar to the input command, we must separate the text in quotes from the output with a comma. So I'll turn the alpha lock off by hitting the alpha button again and then typing in a comma. And now let's run this program again to see this change. So I'll go back to the home screen and I hit enter to rerun the program. Type in 2 for the value of A and 9 for the value of B again. And here we can see the text that I typed in and then the result on a new line. Now, when we use the display command with quotes, we get the text on one line and then the result being displayed on a new line. Text will be left justified, the output from the display command will be right justified to the screen. Now the output command is a little bit different than the display command, and the structure of the command is as follows. You activate output, you give it a row number, a column number, and then the desired output to the screen. And there are 8 rows and 16 columns on the screen. If you wish to display some text, you would put the desired message in quotes. Displaying the results in mathematical computations is not always possible with the output command. And note that you can overwrite previous displays with the output command, which can make the screen difficult to read or easy to read. You have control as to where the output is placed on the screen itself. So let's see this in action. So we'll go ahead and go into Program, highlight Edit, select our program, and then we'll go ahead and go to the last line. We'll go ahead and have a new line. Add it in. Now I'm going to hit Program, select I/O, and I'm going to scroll down to where the output command is. Now I'm going to select the 8th row, then a comma, and then the first column, and then a comma. And I'll go ahead and have it display this quotient again, A divided by B. And close it off. Go back to the home screen so that we can run this program. Type in our previous values for 2 and for 9. And notice the output from the output command starts on the 8th row and the first column. It's not like the display command, which starts it on a new line after you output some text. So you have control as to where things are displayed to the screen with the output command, but not with the display command. Now suppose you wish to have the user enter in a function to plot or to determine values for. We use the string to equation command to do this, and we will find this command under the catalog. It is not located under any specific menu. So we'll go ahead and hit Program, and then Edit. We'll go ahead and get to the bottom of our program, and we'll activate a new command line. And I'll hit Program, select I/O, and this time I'm going to have an input line where we can tell the user to actually input a function. And I'll start the textual display with double quotes again, and I'll just type in F parentheses X. And I'll go ahead and hit a equals mark as well by hitting second in math and then selecting equals. I'll end my textual display with, again, some double quotes. Turn the alpha lock off and hit the comma. Now here is where we're going to start saying, okay, I'm going to have the user input a string of characters, and I'm going to convert that string of characters into an equation that I can plot or find values for. So we hit the VARS button, and then we highlight string, and then we select the first string. So when the user enters in a function, it will initially be stored into a string variable, and I selected string 1. And we're going to use the string to equation converter to store the string of characters into the Y1 slot under the plot menu. And we can do this for plotting values or for finding values. And the structure of this particular command is as follows. You activate the string to equation converter, type in the string variable, and then the Y variable you want this stored in. Now the Y variable is Y1, Y2, Y3. It's stored under the YVARS option. Okay, so the string variable must be selected from the string option under VARS, and the Y variable must be one of the function variables selected from the YVARS menu, again under the VARS button. So let's go ahead and do this. So we'll hit second and 0 to activate the catalog, and I'll hit the number 4 so I can get really close to the string to equation converter. And then I'll just scroll up to find it. Now I'm going to hit VARS to select the string that I want to convert, and that was string 1. Then I hit a comma, then I hit VARS again, highlight YVARS, select function, select Y1, and then close the command off. Now we are ready to enter in a function and have it stored. So let's see this in action. Go back to the home screen by hitting second in mode. We'll go ahead and enter in our values. Now let's notice the output command is still working as it is outputting the results in the 8th row and the first column. See, that's why we get all of these strings of 2's here, because I didn't clear all of that out. So what we're going to do here for this function is we're going to enter in the function x squared plus 2x minus 3. When I hit enter, it says done. When I hit y equals, we see that our function, the string, has been stored in y1. And we can plot this and then find values or do further analysis on it. And this is how you can get users to input information to a calculator through a program, and how you can get it to output certain pieces of information as well on a calculator.